Hey everyone, welcome back to TV Deep Dive. I'm your host, Amelia, and today we're breaking down the explosive 11th episode of CBS's hit drama, Beyond the Gates. Before we dive in, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our weekly recaps. And fair warning, we're covering everything in episode 11. So this is your official spoiler alert. Wow, what an episode. After last week's shocking revelations about the Dupree family's past, episode 11, titled House of Cards, delivers the fallout we've been waiting for all season. The walls are closing in, alliances are shifting, and it seems like Oakwood Estates might never be the same again. Episode 11 picks up immediately after last week's bombshell ending, with the explosive town hall meeting where Danny publicly confronted her father, Vernon, about the original land acquisition for Oakwood Estates. The community is now fractured into factions, with longtime friendships and alliances disintegrating as everyone is forced to choose sides. Meanwhile, Nicole and Ted's separation has become public knowledge, adding fuel to the already raging fire of gossip. Bill Hamilton is capitalizing on Vernon's vulnerability by making moves to take control of the upcoming River Heights development project, while Anita is working desperately behind the scenes to salvage her family's reputation and hold their empire together. This episode brilliantly balances the public scandal with deeply personal moments of reckoning for nearly every character. The directors use frequent match cuts between characters in isolation, emphasizing how even in their individual struggles, the residents of Oakwood Estates remain connected by the web of secrets they've all helped maintain. Let's break down exactly what happened in this pivotal episode that changes everything for the community beyond the gates. The episode opens with a stunning montage showing the immediate aftermath of Danny's public revelations. We see Vernon alone in his study, drinking heavily while watching news coverage of the scandal on multiple screens. The camera work here is exceptional, pulling back slowly to emphasize his isolation within the massive Dupree mansion. Intercut with this are scenes of other community members reacting. Anita aggressively calling in favors from her extensive network, Bill Hamilton gleefully discussing strategy with his daughter Chelsea, and most poignantly, Danny herself, sitting alone in her apartment surrounded by the documents that finally exposed her father's misdeeds. The montage ends with a powerful image of the Oakwood Estates gates, now surrounded by news vans and protesters, the protected sanctuary now exposed to the outside world's scrutiny. What makes this opening sequence so effective is how it conveys the seismic shift in power dynamics. Vernon, previously shown as commanding and in control, appears diminished in his own home. Meanwhile, characters who've been operating from the margins, like Chelsea Hamilton, suddenly have newfound leverage. With his back against the wall, Vernon Dupree reveals just how dangerous he can be when cornered. His storyline in this episode revolves around three increasingly desperate attempts to regain control. First, he attempts to buy silence from Marcus Jefferson's widow, Karen, offering her a substantial payout to contradict the story about her husband's death that's now circulating in the press. Their scene together is electric. Karen's quiet dignity contrasting with Vernon's barely contained panic. Her response, "You've been paying me for 20 years. Look where it's gotten us both," is easily one of the most powerful lines of the season. Next, Vernon confronts his daughter Danny directly for the first time since her betrayal. His performance here is masterful, shifting between rage, manipulation, and ultimately a broken plea for understanding. When he asks, "Do you have any idea what I had to do to build this life for you?" The irony is devastating. It's precisely those actions that have driven his daughter away. Finally, we see Vernon make the shocking decision to reach out to his estranged brother Raymond, who we've only heard mentioned previously. Their tense phone call reveals there's yet another layer to the Dupree family history we haven't fully explored. Something involving their father that both connects and divides the brothers. What's fascinating about Vernon's arc is how the show has slowly peeled back layers of his character. What started as a seemingly straightforward portrayal of a powerful, sometimes ruthless businessman has evolved into something more complex, a man haunted by his past choices, trapped in patterns of behavior he can't escape, even as they destroy everything he's built. While Vernon flounders, Anita emerges as the true power player in this episode. Her storyline demonstrates why she's always been the backbone of the Dupree dynasty, as she executes a three-pronged strategy to contain the damage. First, she holds an emergency meeting with the Oakwood Estates board members, masterfully playing on their own self-interest. The scene brilliantly showcases Anita's political skills as she reminds each member how their own prosperity is tied to the community's reputation. Next, she visits Eva Thomas, correctly suspecting that Eva has been secretly helping Danny gather evidence. Their confrontation is a standout scene. Two women who respect each other's intelligence engaged in a chess match of half-truths and veiled threats. When Eva asks why Anita isn't more angry, her response is chilling. Anger is a luxury for people who don't know what to do next. Finally, and most surprisingly, Anita reaches out to Martin Richardson, leveraging their long-standing friendship and some shared history we're only now learning about. Their late-night conversation on Martin's porch reveals that Anita once helped Martin through a personal crisis, creating a debt he still feels obligated to honor. What makes Anita such a compelling character is her combination of emotional intelligence and strategic thinking. Unlike Vernon, whose power has always stemmed from money and intimidation, Anita's influence comes from her deep understanding of people's motivations and vulnerabilities. This episode finally puts those skills center stage. While the Dupree scandal dominates the community, the Richardson family faces their own implosion behind closed doors. Ted finally confesses to Nicole that his secretive behavior wasn't about an affair, but about financial ruin. He's lost nearly everything in a series of bad investments he hid from both his wife and his family's company. The scene is heartbreaking as Nicole realizes their lavish lifestyle has been funded by debt and deception. Meanwhile, Smitty discovers that Martin has been meeting with Anita, leading to their most serious confrontation yet. When Martin defends his loyalty to the Duprees, Smitty delivers the devastating line: "You left your family for being unable to accept who you are, yet you keep running back to these people who only accept the parts of you that are useful to them." The episode also gives us a surprising alliance between Nicole and her brother-in-law, Martin, as they both realize they've been kept in the dark about their respective spouses' actions. Their conversation in the Richardson family boathouse, a location we haven't seen before, adds a new dimension to family dynamics we thought we understood. What's particularly effective about the Richardson storyline is how it mirrors the larger community themes but on a more intimate scale. Just as Oakwood Estates was built on secrets and compromises, so too was the seemingly perfect Richardson marriage. The episode draws explicit parallels between public and private forms of deception. We see Bill hosting an impromptu gathering of investors, presenting himself as the stable alternative to Vernon for the River Heights development. The visual contrast between this confident presentation and Vernon's earlier isolation effectively communicates the power shift in the community. Chelsea Hamilton emerges as her father's true protege, revealing that she's been gathering intelligence on Oakwood Estates residents for years. Her methodical presentation of leverage points against key community members shows just how calculating she's been beneath her sociable exterior. The most surprising development comes from Naomi Hamilton, who has previously stayed out of her family's power plays. When she discovers the extent of her father and sister's plans, she makes the difficult decision to warn Danny, suggesting a potential alliance between these two outsiders within their powerful families. The production design deserves special mention here. The Hamilton home is filmed with more light and space in this episode, visually representing their rising status. Meanwhile, the previously airy and elegant Dupree mansion is now shot with more shadows and constricted framing, mirroring their falling position. Throughout the season, Leslie Thomas has been playing her own long game, collecting secrets and biding her time. Leslie approaches Ted Richardson with an unexpected offer: financial backing to help him recover from his losses, in exchange for his shares in the Richardson family company. This shocking proposal reveals that Leslie has far more resources than anyone suspected, raising questions about her true background and motivations. We also see Leslie meeting with Karen Jefferson, Marcus's widow, offering her protection from Vernon's pressure tactics. Their conversation hints at a past connection between Leslie and Marcus that adds yet another layer to the community's interconnected history. Most significantly, Leslie finally confronts her sister Eva about her divided loyalties. Their argument reveals the sisters' conflicting philosophies. Eva believes in fixing the community from within, while Leslie is determined to tear down the existing power structure entirely. What makes Leslie such a fascinating character is how the show has gradually shifted our perception of her. Initially presented as somewhat villainous in her ambition and manipulation, this episode recontextualizes her actions as potentially justified given the corruption she's been witnessing. The writers have masterfully kept her motivations ambiguous. Is she seeking justice, power, or personal revenge? At the heart of this episode is Danny Dupree, whose whistleblowing has catalyzed the We Find Danny struggling with the personal cost of her principled stand, as former friends and neighbors now treat her as a pariah. A particularly painful scene shows her encountering her mother's closest friends at a cafe, who ostentatiously move to another table when she enters. The emotional core of Danny's storyline is her unexpected reunion with Chelsea Hamilton. Though they've been positioned as adversaries throughout the season, their conversation reveals a shared experience of living in their father's shadows. Chelsea's observation that we're both just trying to escape the blueprints they drew for us creates a moment of genuine connection between these rivals. Danny's storyline culminates in a powerful scene where she visits her grandfather's grave, speaking aloud about her conflict between family loyalty and moral conviction. The revelation that her whistleblowing coincides with the anniversary of his death adds emotional resonance to her choices. Danny's evolution from the idealistic but somewhat naive returnee in the pilot to the moral center of the show has been one of the most compelling arcs of the season. This episode effectively showcases how her principled stand has cost her nearly everything while still affirming the necessity of her choices. As various characters react to the day's developments, we cut to Anita accessing her hidden safe, the one we glimpsed briefly in the pilot. This time, we see its contents: old photographs, legal documents, and, most significantly, a USB drive. The sequence crosscuts between Anita reviewing the drive's contents and flashbacks to 20 years earlier, finally revealing the truth about Marcus Jefferson's death that has been hinted at throughout the season. The shocking twist: it wasn't Vernon who was responsible for the fatal accident that cleared the way for Oakwood Estates development. It was Anita herself who made the decisive move, while Vernon has spent decades believing he was responsible. The flashback shows a younger Anita making a calculated decision to protect her husband and secure their future, establishing that the Dupree empire was built on her sacrifice as much as Vernon's ambition. This revelation recontextualizes the entire season, particularly the dynamic between Vernon and Anita. Her line from the pilot, "Sometimes protection requires sacrifice," takes on entirely new meaning, revealing Anita as not just the family's defender, but its original architect. The episode ends with three parallel sequences that brilliantly set up next week's penultimate episode. First, Vernon receives a mysterious phone call informing him that his brother Raymond has arrived in town, suggesting a new player is about to enter the already volatile situation. Second, we see Leslie Thomas meeting with an unseen character in a parked car, handing over a file with the ominous statement, "Everything you need to finish them is right here." Finally, and most dramatically, Anita makes a decision. She calls Danny and simply says, "There are things you don't know. Meet me at the gates at midnight." As Anita ends the call, we see her loading a small handgun into her purse. The episode ends on this perfect note of tension, with the clear sense that the truth about Oakwood Estate's founding is finally about to be fully revealed, with potentially deadly consequences. Episode 11 masterfully develops the show's central themes while raising the emotional and narrative stakes. This episode forces every character to reckon with what they've sacrificed for power and status. Vernon's deterioration, Ted's financial ruin, and Anita's revelation all illustrate different aspects of ambition's cost. The episode explores how long buried truths refuse to stay hidden, with each revelation triggering new and unexpected consequences. Danny's initial whistleblowing has created a cascade effect that no one could have predicted. The contrast between the community founders and their children reaches its peak in this episode. The younger generation, Danny, Chelsea, Naomi, are all forced to decide whether to perpetuate their parents' patterns or forge new paths. Every character faces situations where their principles clash with their self interest or loyalties. The episode refuses easy judgments, instead, showing how context and intention complicate moral choices. The performances in this episode are particularly outstanding, with delivering a tour de force in the revelation scene, communicating decades of buried guilt and resolve through the subtlest expressions. As we head into the final two episodes of the season, several pressing questions remain. 1. Will Anita confess the truth about Marcus Jefferson's death to Danny? And how will this affect their relationship? 2. What role will Vernon's brother Raymond play in the family drama? 3. Who was Leslie meeting with, and what is her ultimate endgame? 4. Can the Richardson marriage survive Ted's financial deception? 5. Will Bill Hamilton succeed in taking control of the River Heights project? Based on the foreshadowing in this episode, I'm particularly interested in the potential alliance between Danny and Naomi, which could create an unexpected third faction in the community power struggle. Beyond the Gates continues to deliver exceptional drama that balances soap opera twists with nuanced character development and social commentary. Episode 11 proves the writers have been playing the long game, with setups from the pilot now paying off in satisfying and surprising ways. With just 2 episodes left this season, the stage is set for a finale that could permanently transform Oakwood Estates and the lives of everyone within its gates. What did you think of episode 11? Were you shocked by the revelation about Anita? Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit that like button and subscribe for more recaps of Beyond the Gates and all your other favorite shows. See you next week for our breakdown of the penultimate episode of this incredible first season.